Guys, let's tune in. Let's listen in to everything that's got to go on with this Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a pivotal game. It's a game that we must win in order to get to the dance. Once you get to the dance, then you dance from there, right? That's just the reality of it. You know, you got to get to the dance first, and this will be the pivotal game that can get us there. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out to Sip the Truth. Eric, shout out to you, Space Cowboy, my guy, man. Really appreciate you as well. Quentin Nelson, Joshua Whitlock, all of you all. Thank you all for tuning in. And Jones, what's good with you that's on the Facebook panel? We're going to talk a little bit about the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles, the matchup that we have to understand. At the end of the day, this will be a game of Dak Prescott versus Carson. That's just the reality of it. It will be Dak Prescott versus Carson Wentz. And the best quarterback that perform on Sunday will eventually get the W. News out there with Dak Prescott's shoulder all this week. To me personally, it could have just been a bruised shoulder. I think that they took some type of precautionary reasonings to look at everything. But that's just the reality of it. And at the end of the day, that's just how we have to look at it, Cowboy Nation. Let's listen to Jason Garrett speak to Philadelphia Eagles beat writers, and let's listen to what he had to say about it.
Coach, what can you say about Dak Prescott? Now, there were some remarks earlier that he can't raise his arm above his shoulder. What's his status right now?
Yeah, he just wasn't able to practice today. He hurt his shoulder in the game the other day, and just was not able to function today. So we'll take his situation day by day and just see how he's able to improve over the course of the week, and hopefully get himself ready for the ball game.
Coach, you've known Dak for a long time now. Is there any concern that he won't make the ball game, or is this more of a load management thing to get him through the week?
Yeah, I don't know anything about load management. I know he hurt his arm in the game the other day. Was able to function for 3 quarters after he got hit on it, and it just was sore the last couple of days, so he wasn't able to practice today.
Is it the type of thing where he might be able to play, but maybe can't throw it as far as he usually could?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we're trying to do is just get through today. He wasn't able to do anything today, so Cooper Rush took the reps in practice, and we'll just see how he is over the next couple of days.
All right, so great information from the coach there. This was a previous interview that was done earlier this week. Shout out to you, Joshua. Really appreciate you for making the donation to help grow the nation. As a coach, you don't want to give out a lot of information, and Jason Garrett is doing a wonderful job in his interview of not getting out or giving out a lot of information. And as you can see, the highlight reel that I got above is the all 22 of Dak Prescott going through his read, going through his progression, throwing the ball. And this is after the shoulder situation. So I think that, of course, when you live in the action and these sorts of things, the adrenaline is going. And of course, Dak Prescott played through many of injuries. He's been playing football for a long time. And at this stage of a season, you're never going to be 100%. You're not. However, there are a lot of smoke and mirrors as it relates to player health, war of attrition. All of those things goes into play. So what Jason Garrett's job is to do is not to sully or denigrate his own players and not give out all of the information for the nation. So let's listen to more of the interview.
Coach, you've had a lot of success against the Eagles, especially with Zeke in the lineup. How much easier does he make it for you and your offensive coaching staff when he's out there performing at a high level?
Well, obviously we have great respect for the Eagles. They're a great team, and they're awfully good on defense, and
Sure.
They're really good on the front. They got really good linebackers and back end guys. So we recognize what that challenge is. Obviously, Zeke's been a really good player for us since we got him here 4 years ago, and he's been someone who's been a big part of our offense, both in the running game and the passing game, and we love everything he's about.
Coach, you've been there have been some pretty big games with the Eagles in this series for yourself and with Doug Peterson. And what kind of an atmosphere do you think it'll be on Sunday night or late Sunday afternoon?
It'll be a great atmosphere. There's no question about that. It's two teams, competing at the end of the season in the division rivals with a lot at stake. So anticipate a great atmosphere there in Philadelphia.
Jason, there's been a lot of changes at the skill position players for the Eagles because of injuries and the like. Typically, you're very familiar with this team. How do those changes, those tweaks, in some ways, can it make it more difficult because you haven't seen these players?
Well, you just do your best to try to evaluate, who's been on tape. And, obviously they got a lot of really good players. They got a really good offensive line, really good tight ends who've been very productive for them the last few years. And, the receivers have been banged up, so you're seeing some newer guys there. But obviously the quarterback's the same. They got big-time runners. So, the challenges are everywhere. And just in terms of preparation, you just try your best to evaluate as well as you can the players that you haven't seen as much of.
Jason, Tyron Smith, I think, has that eye problem. How is he moving forward?
Yeah, I was not able to practice today, and hopefully we can get that situation rectified, and he'll get more work in as the week goes on.
Jason, here in Philadelphia, the Eagles say they feel fairly fortunate, in the 15th game of the season, sitting at 7-7, still have a chance to go to the postseason with everything they've been through this year with injuries and whatnot. Do you all feel kind of the same way that, sitting at 7-7, going into the 15th game, that, just to be able to have something still to play for, you got to be a little bit fortunate?
Yeah, again, it's not really for us to evaluate all that stuff. I do know we have a great opportunity this week against a really good football team, and that's really where our focus is. Not really what's happened up to this point, but just the opportunity we have and what we need to do each day to prepare for it.
Jason, what have you seen from Carson, especially the last 3 weeks? Seems like he's playing better, more confident than maybe earlier in the season.
Yeah, he's just a really good player. He has all the physical tools. Obviously, the reason he was chosen as high as he was in the draft, and we had a chance to be around him at the Senior Bowl, and we saw that up close, and we've competed against him a number of times. So he's just a really good football player, and has been really since Philadelphia drafted him, and we got great respect for him. He's a very competitive guy, physically capable of doing anything you want your quarterback to do, playing very well.
Yeah, and on top of that, the matchup between Dak Prescott and Carson. Carson is one of those quarterbacks against the Dallas Cowboys. Although Dak is leading the record of, I think, out of 6 games, Dak Prescott won 4. Also, Carson, he's passed 11 touchdowns against our Dallas Cowboys and only 2 interceptions. That's something that we have to be mindful of as well. Carson, when he's comfortable, he can get the ball out quick. Now, he don't have any outside weapons, but when you have Zach Ertz and you have Dallas Goedert, you can really kill the interior of this team through the air, because we played at Tampa 2. And if you guys think I'm lying, just Google Tampa 2, how to destroy Tampa 2. And that's seam routes, those comebacks, or those stick routes that's in the middle, smoke, drag routes across the middle, those things. And I think Carson can throw a good ball in those perspectives. So in order for the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, they have to start out quick, fast, and hurry to get this ball into the money zone, green zone, red zone. And that's the formula to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. You got to score early on them and get them out of their elements, because you definitely do not want Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, shifty guy, to catch those screen passes, which they're going to throw, and get up the field and these sorts. So we got to be mindful of that particular matchup, Carson Wentz versus a Rain Dakota Prescott. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
Jason, Miles Sanders, you saw him once. He seems to, as a rookie player, he's getting better and better each week. Have you seen those improvements on tape from him?
Yeah, again, he's a really good player. He was a good player coming out of school.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody recognized that in the draft. And, from our standpoint, anytime he's played very well. And have great respect for him. Really good, running the football. He's a good receiver. He's good inside. He's good in space. So certainly one of the challenges we have on Sunday.
Yeah, so that was the end of that. And then we'll listen to some of Dougie's interview here. But I would like to just give a shout out to those that's in the chat. Andrea, really appreciate you. Robert and Ernesto, as well as David, that's on my Facebook panel. And shout out to my Cowboys family and Space Cowboy again, and Jordan K. And Bama fan, what's good, man? This is a pivotal game. I don't know who all is starting. I think somebody said who's going to start as the linebacker. I'm quite sure that Sean Lee will be out there. Jalen Smith will be out there. And we will rotate Justin March in as well. Those are going to be our linebackers for rolling out for the Dallas Cowboys versus the Eagles game. Dak attack, yes. Rue, what's good with you? Really appreciate you. We got this law. Yes, we do. But we have to look at everything objectively. And this is a team that rallies around the crowd noise. They look at it and say to themselves, we saw last week against the LA Rams, those players were a little chippy when they got down on the ground. They were twisting ankles. They was hitting Dak Prescott after the whistle and these sorts of things. I've seen several games, 2 games in a row. It was actually 3. But they just so happened to lose it. That the officials, they are giving Carson Wentz the Tom Brady treatment. I mean, after every play, you can't put a finger on them because they're going to throw the flag, you say. So we have to be mindful of that. We have to scout that up. And I don't know who's going to be the officiating crew. I have to look that up maybe when I leave this live stream here. But we have to be mindful of that. And they're probably looking at tape and they're saying to themselves, hey, if we play physical, if we're aggressive, if we run the rock, if we run this ball down their throats, maybe the Cowboys can fold a little bit. And if we don't lose the game, because Carson Wentz got out of 14 games he played, he got 14 turnovers. So he's going to either give you a turnover as it relates to fumbling the ball or throwing the interception. But you do not want to get that brother in a rhythm. Let's listen to Dougie. Shout out to you, Joshua Skinner, the winner, for making the donation to help grow this thing. Yes, indeed. Let's go.
Good morning.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we
Good morning.
had our hot dogs and Diet Coke waiting afterwards.
You did?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, nice. How were they? Did we provide them?
You look like you're enjoying some hot dogs.
Real Judah, what's good? Brian, Tyler, as they filling in. Natasha, really appreciate you for tuning in. It's late.
Always down.
See, people be normally leaving the club right about now, but now y'all can just tune right on in to this thing. Yeah.
Not much. Just felt something, lower body. Just precautionary. Kept him out. He'll be good to go.
Where do you stand with
On my 2 feet.
with Lane Johnson and Derek Barnett right now?
Derek's doing well. He'll do some work today. So he's progressing. We'll see at the end of the day, but he will work today. First time in a while.
Okay.
And Lane's kind of he's trending in the right direction. Again, we'll see where he's at the end of the day. But I'm optimistic, but at the same time, gotta be smart with it.
Looks like Nelson's kind of struggling with that swelling in his knee. I mean, is there any thought to maybe just kind of ending
Have you seen him?
season? Yeah.
You saw him? What was he doing?
What are you doing? Come on, talk to him.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real deal.
Yeah. I mean, but is there thought to maybe shutting him down at some point?
I mean, that's a
They're talking about
conversation
Nelson
we got to
Aguilar.
have here at the end. But we're again, he's another one that we're hopeful and optimistic that can push through and
I really want him to get
hopefully
out there,
get
right?
back.
Doug, I know you, as a coach and a team, you're focused on what this game means for right now and saving your season and all that. But I was wondering if you had given it any thought in terms of your time here. If you guys lose, that's 3 out of 4 years that the Cowboys have finished ahead of you guys, that you've been chasing them in the division. Now that 1 year is a big exception, but I was wondering if you consider that and what that might say about where you guys are at in relation to, a rival in your division.
Well, obviously, I do think about that. I do think about the start of the season. Every team in the National Football League says the same thing. Every head coach gets up and says, "Hey, let's take care of our division, right? You take care of your division, you win your division, you're in the postseason, and the Cowboys have been a team that we've struggled with, honestly, and it's something that we just got to continue to work and try to overcome. They've had our number here recently, and then really since my time here in Philly, and it's something that as we look at the tape and how I prepare the football team, and and get ready to play and all of that. I'd look at all of that, but at the end of the day, we're focused on this game and one game, and then hopefully we can turn things around. And we do well with the other teams. It's just this one team that kind of has our number right now.
Well,
hey, before he go on, yeah, we do got their number. We do. Yeah, we do. Now, they did won a Super Bowl in 2017. But let me know in the chat, Cowboy Nation, those that's on my Facebook and as well as my YouTube, are they coming for the head for the coach? Are they shooting at his head right now? Are they trying to say that he's on a hot seat if he don't win this game? Because we do know that this is a pivotal game for us, because it will have playoff ramifications, but they have to win 2 games in a row, right? We just have to win one of these. But I would say that I would rather go ahead and have the faith, and control our own destiny. Faith, like in F-A-T-E, faith in controlling our own destiny and winning this particular game, you see, and dominating on Sunday. Well, technically tomorrow, since it's already Saturday, because this is a late night show. So I think that Dak Prescott should and will be ready for it. But it sounds like the Eagles land, they ready to move on from this coach. Let me know. Post me your thoughts in the comment box. Let me know. Or that was just an objective general question for the beat reporter or journalist down there in Philly land.
You brought it out. I mean, you will have gone also from 13-3 to 9-7. 9-7 or 8-8.
He's still getting at him.
Or even 7-9 in a worst case scenario. Does that have you considered that as well?
Sure.
Again?
Yeah, sure. I think all the way back to, my first year and how we battled through that year, and then what we did in the year 2, and again had high expectations, high hopes in year 3 and year 4. This year has been unique again from the injury standpoint, much like last year, and it's something that when I sit down at the end of the season, and evaluate everything, from roster to, my performance to my staff to, everything involved on the football side. Those are things that we need to find some answers there, right? And we need to fix some things, but those are all things for the end of the season that we can look at and then make those changes if we need to.
When it comes to Dak Prescott's shoulder injury, how do you kind of use
that
information?
Yeah, I mean, probably much like they use any information for any of our players. Listen, if you know Dak Prescott, and I've had a chance to meet him and talk to him, and he's a tough kid, and he's not going to miss this game. We know that. He's a competitor, and he'll want to play. We know that, but at the same time, it is what it is. He's on the injury report. I mean, just like our guys. So, it's nothing really more than that, and expect a full Dak Prescott on Sunday.
You have so many young and inexperienced.
So what he's saying is that they already scouted, Dak Prescott, and they said, we ain't finna go look at Cooper Rush and these sorts of things. We focusing, we keyed in on Dak Prescott because he's a warrior, and trust me, when Dak Prescott was drafted, 135th overall and selected, the Eagles then did their homework on Dak Prescott. And what's quite funny on this whole entire situation is that the two quarterbacks are very comparable, Carson and Dak. It's not like they are leading miles and miles away from one another, outside of the injuries aspect of our guy, Carson Wentz. You can look back and say, yeah, the stats are collectively in the same boat, collectively. But we got the good share of it by it being this right here. We didn't have to spend those resources of it being the second overall draft pick. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
Skill players right now. How do you know if they're ready for a moment this big? Are there signs that kind of tell you?
Throw them out there, man. Seriously, throw them out there. Honestly, that's the only way. I mean, because you can't go back to Alshon or Nelly at this point or any of those guys. Deshaun, you got to put them out there, right? And they kind of grow up in a hurry. I mean, we've seen that with the young guys that have played, and it's it's good for them. It's good for us because we get to see exactly who they are and what we have, and but it's a great opportunity for them, at this point.
We saw Carson mic'd up this past game, and a lot of positivity from him on the sidelines. Is that selective editing, or is that really how he is during games?
Yes.
And what
That's who he is. That's who he is. It's who he is not only on a game day, but it's who he is during the week. What you see is what you get with him. And it's a great way, I think, of how it's a great look to, I guess, an internal look to who he is as a person and who he is as a leader on this team.
You spoke Wednesday about the extra off day on Tuesday. Why the walkthrough for Wednesday's practice?
I've done this did it last year before, this time of the year. I mean, it's more about the mental part of the game at this point. The physical part, we understand how to do that. Is we can still get a lot of plays done through and it's not necessarily a slowed down walkthrough. It's more, I'd say, more of a jog through type of a tempo. And just trying to keep guys as fresh as possible this time of the year, this late in the year.
Doug, you mentioned some of the difficulties with the Cowboys. Styles made fights. Is it that type of thing? Have you found a common theme for the struggles?
Let me know.
Our struggles?
What the struggles?
I look back to the game, our first game. I mean, again, the turnovers, early in that football game really cost us big, and then we were playing from behind. And even some of the games that we've watched again, this week and from last year and even the year before, we got down early in these games, and it's something that we try to put an emphasis on of best we can. We got to stop the run. We understand that, try to slow them down. And then offensively, we've got to start fast. We've got to put points on the board early and then try to sustain that and maintain that throughout the course of the game. So those are things.
All right, so just trying to cipher much of what he's saying is that, and shout out to you, Marcy, and shout out to you, Adrian and Sam, Harris, as well as Gracia. Really appreciate you all that's on the Facebook there. Please, if you can, share this information. Here's the thing, what I'm picking up from. He said that we got to start off fast, meaning that they're going to try to press a little bit. I like to see that. I like to hear that because here's the thing. The Cowboys, if we can get that turnover first, if we get that takeaway first, and if we can punch them in the mouth first, they can play right into our hands. Remember, when we play with a lead, it's nothing to do with our front four at that point because although we are finessed in a sense, we don't have those big maulers, grinders type of guy that's going to feed in two guys or fill in the gap, trash can full of dirt, however you want to call it. We got those finesse guys. And when we know for sure it's going to be a passing situation, boy, it's OVA for them. Let's listen to some more.
That I've seen, from the turnovers, some penalties that have kept us in some situations where we're maybe a 3rd and long, and that's where these pass rushers can really get after you, and that's where they thrive there. And then the score, we've got to be able to score sooner than later, against these guys.
Are there any examples that come to mind for you of where the Philly crowd has really helped? Moments over the course of the history that you've been associated with the franchise, and is it a kind of a real thing that can?
I look back to my first year. We had 2 games remaining. We had the Giants and the Cowboys to end that season, and we were 5-9, I think, at the time, something like that, and had 2 games left, and the crowd showed up and helped us win really both of those games at that time to finish 7-9 that first year, and they were such an impact and affecting our opponent, and that's what our players also feed off of, right? They feed off the energy of that crowd, and then of course in 17, 18, and even this year the crowds that we've had. I think about when the Patriots were in here this year, Seattle was in here, the Bears. I mean, not only good football teams that come in here, but our crowd shows up, and they're in the stands at kickoff, and they're there at the end of the game, right? And that's what we need. We're going to need that again this week, right? with a 4:25 kickoff. We're going to need everybody in there loud, and we're going to need everybody at the end standing on their feet, yelling, screaming, doing what they can to disrupt, and that's an advantage for us.
After the game.
The only way we take this crowd out of the situation, Cowboy Nation, if we go ahead and hit them, punch them in the mouth. We need to do that. We must do that. Remember, the Philadelphia Eagles fans are very fickle. They was born at halftime in the last 3 games. They booed in Miami. Well, of course, that was a home game for Miami. But all of the Philly fans that was there, remember, they thought, and they were so high and confident that they was going to beat the Miami. They loaded up their cars. They flew down there in Miami land, and they was ready. And then all of a sudden you saw the Eagles fans booing. And of course, the New York Giants game and the previous game, we know that they want this victory. But they will boo, and we can flip this thing all the way around because they so fickle. It is what it is. The truth hurts.
Practice the other day, Josh Perkins came in full pads. I assume some of the other guys did too. They got that way and to catch passes after practice. So what does that do when you see guys do stuff like that?
I think it's great that they take it upon themselves as part of the ownership that we talk about around here, and doing their jobs and things like that. And obviously I can control the pads being on or off, but they have to play in pads on game day. Yeah. So, whether they're blocking or tackling or trying to get some extra throws in after practice with pads on, I think so. Credit to them, and just to kind of maintain that feel throughout the week.
Doug, after that Miami game, what experiences did you kind of draw on to figure out your approach or your messaging to sort of get the team in the right mindset to win the last 2 games and just be in the situation?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from that is, as coaches and players in this league, you never take any opportunity for granted, right? Whether it's a game, whether it's a play, the off season, the training camp. I just think that we've been blessed to play this game, right, and coach this game. And
true,
you can't take any of that for granted. And not saying that we did that, but I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is to, when I prepare the team going down the road, is, guys, you understand that we've been blessed to do this and to play this at a high level, and we've got to maintain that. And it's about us, honestly, and what we do and how we prepare. And for me, that's kind of the biggest takeaways that I've learned. Not only that one, but other losses and really, my 4-year career here.
A lighter question if I can. After the game, you mentioned that Greg Ward was your wife's favorite player. Is that the case?
Uh-huh. And you are her favorite reporter.
I appreciate it. Is that the case, and why is that?
No, I mean, listen, she's got a lot of favorites, but and that's the thing. I think you've seen my boys, around the team, and of course my wife's around the team a lot, especially when we're on the road. And
for nothing but the best, go Cowboys! Fire, fire, fire!
Man, thank you so much, man, for the donation to help grow the nation, man. Gave me the $20 holla like my brother from another mother. No other don't look like Danny Glover would say. Big game James and things. But shout out to you, Stellos, man, for making the donation to help grow the nation. Drop that Dub City in the house, man. I really appreciate you, man, so much. He says, for nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's go. Let's go with this thing. Let's go with this thing. Really appreciate you,
and she
man.
gets to know him, just like my boys do, and I think that's a big part of, the family atmosphere that we have, and she's got a lot of favorites, but, just I think, his personality and the conversations they've had, at the hotel or whatever, makes him one of her favorites. Thanks.
Oh man, so his wife loved the practice squad guy that's now the starting wide receiver for them. We're gonna listen in to Dak Prescott as well. But my overall thoughts of the interview, they're gonna try to be ready. They're gonna try to take that crowd noise and shift it and move it and make that crowd noise be a factor for them. One thing that I can say that we don't get a lot of that as it relates to Dallas Cowboys land. Our crowd is never really that loud, shaking the stadium and these sorts of things. However, I can say this. if we can shut them and make it quiet down there in Lincoln Stadium, whatever the name of their stadium, boy, that would be remarkable. Let me know, Cowboy Nation, if we're going to be that type of team.
Straight nah, I'm a guy that likes to be in the action. I don't like to sit back, don't like to take any reps off, but it's good mentally. It's always fun, just challenging yourself, and right now it's just a mental challenge. So same preparation in the game plan, if not doubling down since I don't get those physical reps, but I'll be ready to go.
When do you ready to go?
Find out it was hurt, and how limited were you in the game, or was it worse after the game and woke up the next day and you couldn't move on?
I mean, obviously as time goes on, swelling and all that stuff come into effect, but it happened early in the game and I was fine. I mean, saw the rest of the game, played throughout the whole second half without it being a problem, without it being an issue. Expect the same this Sunday.
You haven't had to deal with this situation as a pro, preparing on a limited basis. What about before that?
Yeah, so many times. I've been fortunate, I guess, in the NFL, not dealing with it, but in college, this was a once every other week thing, especially running as much as I did. So it's not anything that I haven't had before. I know how to handle it, and we're taking the right approach.
What's the key?
Just getting my body back. Knowing game day, I'll be ready to go. But as I said, not getting those physical reps. It's just about doubling down, making sure I'm getting them all mentally, and still just getting myself ready. Helps when you're playing an opponent you're familiar with.
When do you anticipate trying to throw?
I mean, I've done some movement on it. I may give it a shot tomorrow, but I'm sure Saturday I'll get some in for sure, and Sunday I'll have a full workout before the game.
How painful? How much pain is involved in this injury?
All right, perfect. Game time too. What happened?
I didn't hear that. I said how much pain is involved in this injury?
How much pain?
It's just annoying. I mean, it's nagging. Definitely have dealt with a lot more pain, so just nagging.
Is there a hairline fracture in the finger?
Not that I know of. I've overcome it at this point. So.
Yes or no? Was there one?
I wasn't sure if there was one. Obviously, the finger hurts a little bit, but it's one of those just annoying deals that you just deal with. So if it is, it is. If it's not, oh well.
What have you worked with the equipment guys on anything in terms of creating some protection for you in the game?
Yeah, I mean, we got a great offensive line. Got great receivers, running backs. The guy to the right of me, I know he'll do a great job. Honestly, I think my teammates will take pride in keeping me clean. I know I'll be smart in the licks that I take, but as far as extra stuff, it's tricky when you're putting it on your throwing shoulder, so I'll be fine.
Outside of not throwing, what else are you limited in doing right now?
What he gonna tell you for?
Pretty much that's it for the most part. I mean, I just got a workout in with it. As I said, it's just kind of getting over that pain that's annoying, and I will. It's fine.
Have you had this specific injury before?
Yes, for sure.
When did you have it?
In college, probably once every other week. So both shoulders. Yeah, I mean, it's no different. Obviously, I haven't had it in 4 years. You forget the pain level. You got to get used to that again, but it's fine.
Have you found that the pain varies based on situation to situation with this? Like how quickly it improves?
I think it depends on. I mean, in college, I was getting them so often, so yeah, the pain was easy to subside right there. Versus, I haven't had one in 4 years. You get it. It's a little tougher, but nothing I can't do.
Was it worse Monday or Tuesday?
Say it one more time.
You had to get a shot for your shoulder?
I've gotten one before. I don't know if that'll be the approach. I think it'll be fine.
Was the pain worse Monday or Tuesday?
For sure Tuesday as time went on, but it's better today.
All the adrenaline gone,
On that note of getting it every other week in college, how grateful are you that you went so long without having to miss a practice or do NFL?
For sure. Super grateful. Hate that that streak had to come to an end, but it's part of it. It's good for our coop. It's good for those other guys to hear another voice and just go through the preparation, right? You've always got to be prepared for all situations. So it's good for the team, but I'll have myself ready. Be ready to go.
You've talked about the value or the fact that you like playing a physical style at your position.
Won't change.
What's the value of that for not only you but everybody else that sort of seems to respond to you when you do that?
Yeah, I mean it's a sense of aggression, especially I guess as the quarterback's doing it. The quarterback's being physical. Everybody else has to be physical, right? So if it starts with me and I'm doing that, then everybody else has to hold their end of the bargain and be a physical offense, be a physical unit, be a physical team.
You want to be
physical, but you got to be smart too.
Smart. There you go.
I mean, in that instant, I mean, does even the risk reward, can it even be processed that quickly?
Once I'm in between those lines, I don't know. I mean, that's the competitive flip switches on. I'll be ready to go. I won't necessarily think, right shoulder, left one's good, let me hit them. So I'll just go and play. I'll be okay.
You expect the Eagles to come after you and kind of test you a little bit with pressures and things just to
see how you're doing?
I don't know if that's going to be their. I mean, I think they might do that regardless. So I don't think just because of a shorter, they're going to try to do it more. But I hope they do.
How much do you love this type of game? Just so much on the line for both sides, winning your.
Talk to me.
This is what it's about. This is what you play this game for. When I was a little boy and dreamed about being a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, these are the situations you thought about being in. And excited for this moment, this opportunity for our team.
Thank you. Jason's message: the every day is the same. Treat it. Have a great Wednesday. The right one for moments like this.
Because that's exactly what you have to do. Don't allow this week to be bigger than your normal preparation. Do exactly what you have to do to get yourself ready for the game. Don't put too much on yourself, put too much pressure on yourself. Be the person that you are that prepares each and every day, and make sure you go out there and execute the same as you would any other Sunday, because that's what we need.
Dak, you talked about your offensive line being a source of protection. Some of them were saying yesterday, I think Zach said they'd have to kill you to get you off the field, and Travis that they'd have to keep you on a leash. What to you does it take to get off the field, and what does it mean that your teammates view you as that tough?
I feel like they know me then. That's pretty fair. Yeah, I can't see myself coming off the field. I don't know what does it, and don't want to imagine that.
Shout out to Dak Prescott, man, for saying that, hey, you got to kill me to get me off this field. That's what his teammates evaluated the situation. The phone line is 682-214-4087. If you want to call in, please do. The text line is the same number. You can text me. It's 24/7. So any information that you guys want to give, any insights, just hit that number up, 682-214-4087. The phone lines are now open, especially if you are a late night warrior just like me.
When did you first have that shoulder injury? Did it go back to high school at all, or was it college first time?
No, I got it in college. Actually, the first time I had it was going into my senior year on my right shoulder. It was the first time I got so something I've dealt with, part of being physical, but it takes that sense of knowing what I've got to do, the urgency to get my body back during the week. And the fortunate part is I've dealt with it before, so I know the steps that are necessary, and we'll take those.
Do you feel like even if let's say it was earlier in the season, this isn't the type of injury that keep you out of the game?
Not at all. Not at all, for sure.
Anything unique about your the Cowboys rivalry with the Eagles that you've experienced in the 6 or 8 times you've played them?
Yeah, I don't think either team cares for one another. Simple as that. From on the field,
5-10. What's good?
Especially the fans.
What's up, man? Yeah, calling from the West Coast, Oakland.
Okay, it's still early where you at, man.
Yeah, it's not too bad right now. But yeah, man, I'm a big fan of yours, so it's an honor to speak to you. Actually. But yeah, man, I'm juiced about the game, and I just, if they do end up having to go to Cooper Rush, do you think that would even be a scenario, or
by Dak Prescott used to being in this type of injury, played with this type of injury before, I think that he would know how to tolerate this injury. Just keep in mind that this team is operated and ran through Ezekiel Elliott and their front 5 offensive line. So if we can get ahead, if we can get the lead or what have you, and if you look at the highlight that I got above us that's on the screen right now, those were all plays that was completed after, he so happened to hurt his shoulder. So I think that he can still go through his progressions. I think he can still make those necessary throws. And I think that if all we can do, if we can throw those screen passes, if we can throw those little deep, I guess now you can say dink and dak, if we can do that type of game plan, we can still win this game, believe it or not.
Right on, man. That's the type of response I was looking for, for sure. I mean, Dak's our warrior, I want him in there, in every situation at all times.
Most certainly.
I know he can do it, through anything. So. But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to just kind of pick your brain about right now. I'm kind of out of loss of words right now.
Well, we gonna get this thing going. It's just the process in the making right now. That's just how it goes.
Do you think Tony and Zeke are gonna have a big day, or I mean, if we can get them rolling,
I think that the Eagles front 4, or if you look at their top 7 as it relates to that front, they bring in a lot of heat. and it will be a battle type of game. It will be a slow start because they're going to be hungry for it. They're going to have the crowd noise to their flavor or favor, and then on top of that, they're going to try to look for those things to stop the run. So if we can score first, then it's going to be a long night for Philly.
Right.
Yes,
yeah, I feel like they're going to do everything in their power to stop the run. What I'm kind of afraid of in a way.
Most certainly, man. But I really appreciate you for calling in.
Yeah, man. Thanks for answering.
Anytime, my brother.
All right, take it easy, man.
Salute. Good call. 337. You can call back in if you want. All right, Cowboy Nation. Here's a pivotal moment, pivotal game. We have to put W's in that win column, meaning that we got to win. And you win, you win. That's the name of the game. Collectively, our team opposed to their team, we are a little bit more healthier than them. But they got the edge because they are playing at home. They're going to be used to the elements. It's going to be a cold game. It's not going to be a wet game, but it's going to be cold. And they're going to have the crowd noise. They're ready. And you know how the Fly Eagles fly is going to be singing all of those songs. But it's up to us to turn Fly Eagles fly to Cry Eagles cry. And I think we can get that thing going. All right, let's see who we have here. 337. You're live.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Salute to you off the top, off the rip.
Shout out to you, man. How you living?
Yeah. Oh, man. Day to day. You know what I'm saying?
Most certainly.
It is what it is. Yeah. But look here, man. I said, man, Law Nation, man. So
Love of the Law Nation. Dallas 35, Philly 17. Let's go, Dallas Cowboys. Mahalo Yang.
Hold on for a quick second. Repeat that again, because I had a donation to go in, and when the donation go in, they help support the nation. Young Wilson made a donation to help grow this thing for a $10 holler, pretty much $9.99 pennies. Every penny count. He's saying that, hey, Dallas 35, Philly 17. Let's go. He's all the way from Hawaii. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. But what's good though?
Yeah, what I was saying is that I just really it's going to be on our defense, I think, to keep up the pressure on those guys. Don't let Carson Wentz get comfortable back there in the pocket. He's going to look to roll out for the pass, the double screens. I forget the name of their back, the real short one. He kind of remind me of, I hate to say this name, Darren Sproles.
Oh, Boston Scott.
Man.
Yeah, he's
man.
A very shifty guy.
Yeah, and you know how Sproles used to kill us, man. It's like we couldn't find this little dude running. Like, seriously. So we need to really keep our eyes on that little spark plug that they got, Don't let him get going. But I also think that they're gonna throw the kitchen sink at us because they desperate, bro. So I'm just hoping and praying that our coaches are telling the guys, look here, you got to stay on your toes. You got to stay on your toes, man. Do not let don't let the back of your heel touch the carpet. You feel me? And stuff, because I just feel like they're going to do all kind of things, man. Whether it's faking on the punt, on the field goal, whatever they can do, man. This team knows that by all accounts they really shouldn't even be on the field with us, But at the same token, they also know in the back of their minds that, hey, we can be beat and we can come out there flat-footed. So.
Oh, yeah, because they can look at this thing and say, man, it's almost like fate that we are right here. And the reason why they can say that is because everybody with eyes can see that, man, they could have lost that game against the Giants. They was on their way to be holding that L. And then just last week, the Washington team, if it wasn't for their stupidity in certain situations, they can say to themselves, man, we could have lost that game. So they playing on borrowed time, you see. So they looking at it like, man, we've been revived. You know, this is destiny for the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And they listening in to what Stephen A. Smith had to say and beyond, of saying that they are the greatest organization. They fall on the fact that they won a Super Bowl in 2017. We show that level of resiliency. We can figure out ways to find this thing to win. This is what the Philadelphia Eagles are saying to themselves, that they went on that miracle run before, they can go on that miracle run again. But the Dallas Cowboys, we hold that wild card. You see, we got the Joker, deuce. So
we know we can make that extra. We know we got these books, but we need to go ahead on and, like you've been saying, and so many others.
And don't renege.
Right. Well, you know, we don't want to renege. When you see it, you got a handful of spades. You feel what I'm saying? You count them spades in your hand, and you like, okay, I don't know how many. I know exactly how many spades are out there, and if I'm looking at it correctly, I know I got all the spades and only 3. You know, let's say I got an ace of heart and a king of hearts and a diamond. So I know I'm gonna make the rest of these books because I'm holding, you know. So it just goes without saying that, you know, you got to go ahead on and hit them in the mouth, hit them hard. Don't let up off them. You get your running game going with your passing game. Right. I think we should still set up with the pass because they know we want to run heavy, but we have to give them that, get them on their back heels to let up. Or we run Pollard in there too, like we did. Remember I said this. Put those guys on the field at the same time, and you pick your poison.
Pick your poison. Don't show your hands, and you better bid right. You know, it's one thing that I hate when you're under bid. So, yeah. So we better bid right.
I'm gonna make 8 books. If I got all of them, I got at least 8 or 9 books. You know, so you know what I'm saying. I'm coming with it, and you're not gonna see it. And I just think that hopefully our coordinator got his game plan together and he's gonna stick with it. But that combination in the backfield, I just felt like that wreaked havoc for defenses, man. Because, like I said, I've said this from the beginning of the season. Pollard is, I can knock a home run out the park at any time type of back. Zeke was that back. You know, in this last game, he showed that burst and that fire and that he was ready to take hold of the game. You know, so
we'll see though, man, and hopefully we can just continue with the sense of urgency like we had last game and let this spill over for this game. Shout out to you, man. Really thank you for calling in from the 337, man.
Yeah,
really
man.
do,
You too.
Appreciate you, bro.
You have a good one. Salute.
That's what I'm talking about. 337-682-214-4087 is the number. Here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. If we have every chance and every opportunity to win this game, but we have to punch them in the mouth. We have to be ready for it.
So it's a fun, heated rival. We're ready to hold up our end.
What would it mean to win another division title? Start quarterback here?
It'd be great. I mean, it's the plan.
It's the plan.
When I first became the starter of this team, it was my plan is to win in the division and to win beyond that. So it's got to start here.
On that note, no one's defended the division since 2003, 2004. What would it mean to change that?
Change it.
Great. It's something that we've got to do if we want to be the team that we know we're capable of doing. And as I said, this is a playoff game, and it starts now.
How much does it feel like you hit a stride last week against the Rams?
We just took a step. To say we hit a stride, to say we're playing our best game, that's catchy. We've just taken a step in the right direction, and we've got to continue to grow on that and build on that. And we have this week with some great practices, great approach, great mentality. I'm just excited for the way our guys are coming to work.
Is treatment a round-the-clock thing, or is there only so much you can do?
No, I mean, it's an around-the-clock thing.
Treatment is a round-the-clock thing, man. Let's listen in to these guys right here. I think this is Miles Sanders. Let's see his points of views as it relates to Philly land, to see what he have to say. Still, if you want to call in, 682-214-4087. 4087.
Physically for a game like this?
I mean, sheesh. All those games, all those stadiums are about 100K plus. So, I mean, I think those are the biggest stage you can probably play on, especially at Penn State. Playing in front of 100K each week and knowing what's at stake of those games. It's probably more like amped up in college because you lose one game, you basically messed up the whole season. If you try and go for the playoffs and stuff. So, but no, this game is very similar. Divisional matchup is for the divisional title, and it's gonna be rocking. I'm excited.
Is Zeke a guy you've spoken to at all? Know at all?
No, I don't know him. No, not really. I watched him in college and when he was in the league when I was in college. So much respect, hell of a running back. And I think he made the Pro Bowl too, right? Yeah. So definitely a great running back and definitely a guy that I like to watch and watch film on.
Take a couple more from Miles. People talk about the rookie wall. You only played 12, 13 in college. Is that real when you get to this stage?
Repeat that one more time.
Speak up, Dan.
That rookie wall, people talk about you only played 12, 13 in college, and now you're at week 16. Has that been real for you?
A little bit. I'm hanging in there. It's long. Everybody's been through it, so I got a lot of support from the older guys. Everybody on the team. Everybody went through the rookie year. That's the hardest year. But only certain ones make it through the season. So I'm just trying to finish the season strong and get some extra games and make it even longer. So, I feel good though, mentally and physically.
And here's my assessment of Miles Sanders. I like him. I like this kid. At first, a lot of Eagles fans and a lot of other people was giving the kid a hard time, but I was telling a lot of people, man, coming out of the draft, he was quick, he was shifty, catches the ball out of the backfield, can make you miss. It's just that when he got to the NFL, those first few games, he thought that he can do the same thing that he was doing over there at Penn. No. And I think the first meeting, Sean Lee gave him the welcome to the NFL type of hit. I should have put that up on the jumbo screen right behind me. But I like the way his vision is, and he's a fourth quarter type of running back. He play all four quarters, and on top of that, he's going to be somebody that we're going to have to look at for years. And looking at his entire season this year, he was the type of guy that grew. See the hole, hit the hole instead of tap dancing like the late, great Gregory Hines. So he's a guy that we have to be mindful of. And I thought for sure that on this level that he was not going to be able to sustain a running in between the tackles. And he proved me 100% wrong. He can run in between the tackles. He can get north and south. He got good speed on him. And he had 2 tubs last week, right? Over 170 yards collectively. So we're going to have to be mindful of that. And then on top of that, like they said, like we said all this year, those quarterbacks that can run the rock and those running backs that's shifty, and they so happen to get 2 of them, and he got a little power. So I believe by Howard going down and the other running back going down, it was a blessing in disguise for those Philadelphia Eagles. Let's listen to more what he had to say.
It's not like last week was the first good game you played, but I imagine after the way you played, 26 is going to kind of be the focal point of their defense. How do you combat that? What do you do when you know a defense is kind of designed for you?
Just take what they give me, man. That's all I can really do. Just take what they can give me. Make sure I'm doing my job, have my eyes in the right place, hitting holes the way I can, getting those hard 3-4 yards, those hard 4 yards. Then one of the plays we're going to bust. So that's all I can really do is just focus on my job and just keep playing the whole game.
Listen to the other receiver.
Greg.
Listen to the other guy. I think this is the receiver here. Here's the thing, though. Also, Cowboy Nation, when I go back and watch the Bills tape, and to me personally, the Bills front four, the interior aspect of the Buffalo Bills, they was pretty good. And Sanders, if you go back and look at that tape, you would say, hey, he was the reason why they won that game. And you can argue the fact, for those who watch Philly tape, a lot of Philadelphia tape or what have you, this previous game, the Washington game, he was the reason why they won that game. So this rookie, this young phenom, he's winning games for the Philadelphia Eagles. So my operation would be to stop 26. Slow him down at least, put something on him, whatever his number is. I forgot his number just that quick. Let me know if it's number 26. But slow him down. That would be the operation, Cowboy Nation. Slow this guy down and make sure that when they try to play this game, because Carson, he don't throw the ball deep. He don't throw it a lot deep. He do a lot of Carson Wentz, do a lot of dinking and dunking. He does. He does.
Eagles Cowboys Sunday. Obviously, you're gonna have a big role in this game. What does that mean for you personally?
Just go out there and get the win. That's my whole mindset. Just help my team to the best of my ability.
How's everyone prepared you to treat this week like any other week, even with the stakes so high, to go about your business the same way?
We treat it just like last week. It's win to go home. So this is a very important game, and it's the Cowboys. So everybody's amped, everybody's happy, everybody's excited.
Everybody amped, everybody happy.
What's Tyler, Texas like right now? Eagles fans, Cowboys fans?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm kind of here right now in the moment. I really don't know right now.
Oh, he must be from Tyler, Texas.
In the past few weeks, how do you think defenses will adjust?
Honestly, I don't know, and it really doesn't matter. Just really focused on me and what I can control, and just really just focusing on my details and my assignments.
What did last week do and catching a game winner do for you confidence-wise as you get ready for a game like this?
It definitely helps with my confidence. I felt very confident before, but being blessed to have that opportunity and executing, it just takes you, I would say, to a little higher mindset to where you feel like that you can do anything, And I feel like any player should always have that mindset that they can do anything. I just feel like whenever the ball comes my way, I got to make the play.
A little more short.
All right, so he been dropping the ball as well. The ball hit him in his hands, he'll drop it. Hands made out of bricks, but when he gets on a roll, when he gets on a momentum, he begins to catch the ball. Now, practice squad guy, didn't do a lot of film study on him, but he is comparable because he used to play quarterback and these sorts of things, I believe, to a Julian Edelman, as relates a poor man's version of that. Here's the thing with this kid. He's going to be faced up, or he's going to be locked up with Cheeto Awuzie, shifty short guy, because they put him on the outside because of the fact that they kind of got decimated as it relates to wide receiver core. Cheeto, my thing is, if you're going to play this guy, if you're going to do a bump and run, if you're going to be physical at the point of contact, make sure that your safety is over the top, because he can't get in those short areas. He got a lot of short area quickness. So if Cheeto misses his jam, he can kill you across the middle there. So I would recommend Cheeto to not try to jam him because he's so quick off the LOS. So Cheeto should play a little bit off, 5 yards off of him, let him pitch his route, and then squeeze him if he goes towards the sideline. Use that boundary technique, forces him back inside where your help is going to be at, so that when he catches the ball, you make him pay. That will be the way you'll play this particular guy. Now, I don't know the overall scheme or how they're going to match him up or what have you, but that will be the way I will look at it. I would look at it squeezing him into the inside, passing him off to Jordan Hill, Pocket Lewis if he's lined up on that particular side of the field, and see what we can do from there. Now, as far as Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, I do know that our DBs don't travel, but this game should be one of those exceptions because we don't have a guy. We don't have the LVEs of the world. And I love Sean Lee, but I don't like Sean Lee turning his hips and following the tight end up the field, especially Zach Ertz. So this would be a game that I would try to shadow Zach Ertz with the Byron Jones of the world, be physical with him and these sorts of things. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
Assurance then that the confidence pays off, that the hard work does pay off.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hard work definitely does pay off. It pays off a lot. You just got to stay dedicated, committed to what you're doing. And whatever it is, man, you can do anything you want to.
A couple of your teammates mentioned that they thought that your quarterback background helped, with
getting on the same page as Carson pretty quickly. Is that, you think that's right? And what is it about?
I would say so, especially the conversations that me and Carson have. I know where he wants the receiver to be, especially with timing. I know exactly how he think on some routes, and me and him just collab all the time and try to get the job done.
Can you remember the last time you played?
Now, a lot of times when you are used to be a quarterback or what have you, just like the Randall Cobbs of the world, the Julian Edelman, or even Cole Beasley, they know where the leverage at on the field, and they can think as it relates to the quarterback. Do I cut my routes out shorter? Do I squeeze in tighter on my stick routes? And do I actually shade the actual leverage of the field when I come back from my my button hooks or what have you? That's what benefits from being a quarterback, transferring over to or transposing your skill sets over to a wide receiver.
In the game that has the stakes that this Sunday's game will have?
Yeah, last week it's the same stakes, you know. It's just the Cowboys. We all got the same mindset, though.
When you look at the tape of the Cowboys, especially in that secondary, what are you seeing on film?
Let me know what you see.
They play very hard.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going to bring their A game, but we got to match it, plus more.
All right, so that was the end of that, Cowboy Nation. Like I said, the phone lines are still lit right now. Just give me a call when you get a chance, 682-214-4087. That's the number. Before I roll out of here, I've been here for an hour or so. And we're going to try to get this thing going for maybe another 5 or 6 minutes. Let me know of your thoughts. Let me know how you all feel about this game. It's a pivotal game. It's a game that we, as Cowboys fans, must win. And if you are an Eagles fan, you're sitting there saying, hey, this is an opportunity for us to slap the Cowboys in the face and these sorts of things. So, you guys know how that goes, right?
I ran into Shannon Sharp.
I got to say this, man.
I saw him yesterday. He was clowning on my Cowboy. But every time I see Shannon, I just go skip, 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 skip. No, skip, 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 skip. That ain't what it was. Skip, skip. That ain't what it was. Skip. No, skip, 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 skip.
No, we got to poke fun at Shannon Sharp.
Skip. See, Skip. LeBron James is the best. Skip, 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 skip. Skip. That's not what he said. Skip, skip. That's not what he said. LeBron James. Skip, 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 skip. No, skip. Skip, 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 skip. Skip.
Oh, man, I'm going to play that pretty much every time I get an opportunity to. This was another chart. If you go to my Law Nation's Instagram page this weekend, you will see the game there. We live streamed the game on Instagram, so I really appreciate those who've been following the channel. Dak Prescott with the most drop passes, 34. Tom Brady with 33. Carson Wentz with 32. Those are the most drop passes in the NFL. Now, a lot of people were going back and forth saying that, hey, it's because Dak Prescott don't throw a catchable ball, you know. So, I mean, to be objectively, you know, saying that, you know, a lot of times they count every ball that was thrown your way, and if you had your hands on it as a drop pass. So, sometimes it can be rhetorical in a sense, but it is what it is at this point. Here's another thing. For those who out there, let me show you. They made a kick-proof TV. Now, whether you're a Cowboys fan or if you're a diehard Eagles fan, boy, we could need one of these, especially being 7-7, knowing the level of competition that we have in the NFC East and also the skill set that we have on our team. Makes no sense, right? It makes zero sense for us to be 7-7 collectively. One way or another, Cowboy Nation, we have to figure these things out. We have to find a win, and we must win, Cowboy Nation. Let me know how you guys feel about this game coming around the corner. Post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. Also, it's so important for us as content creators to maintain our independency. The best way to help Outlaw Nation, you can also join now. They made a join feature for YouTube that's for exclusive content. When you join that particular deal on my YouTube page. You get a customized logo badge, and whenever you post anything that's on my channel, you will see your badge and these sorts of things. And it also helps me out because down the line, the content that I provide, the money that you guys donate, help me put out more content, you see, with less work as it relates to doing this and doing that. And I really appreciate it for the journey. And let me see if I can read some of the people that made the donation to help grow this thing. Let me see. It was Young Wilson who made the donation that I couldn't get to earlier. And I really appreciate you being all the way from Hawaii, helping me grow this thing. Let me see what you said over here. Oh, you just made the donation to help grow the nation. I really appreciate you, Young Wilson. And who else? Joshua Skinner and Stellos. Man, I really appreciate. And also, who else made it? Joshua Whitlock. Really appreciate you for being a sponsor today. Cowboy Nation, as we continue to grind, as we continue to shine, man, we just got to take this thing one day at a time, one movement at a time. See how Devon got that little star beside his name? That's because he's one of the elites. I really appreciate you, Devon. All right, shout out to those that's on my Facebook deal. I really appreciate you all for being there, helping me grow that thing. Just made 4,000 on there. Really appreciate you all. Really do, man. But as always, Cowboy Nation, let's figure out ways to win. Let's figure out ways to get this thing going in the right direction. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. Let's go. Let's listen to this. All right, I can't leave without seeing the fire, so let's get it crunk, man. 124, let's get it crunk. Yeah, can't leave without seeing the fire. Come on, let me see the fire in the chat box, baby. Yeah, come on, let me see the fire, baby. Can't leave without it.
This is Sparta!
Time to let them know we've been boys.
Shout out to you, stand alone. Really appreciate you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
This is Sparta!
Let's go, Cowboy Nation. tell them, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap for it, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out and sweat for it, and fight for it, and fret for it, and lose all error of God or man for it, if you would simply, just simply go after the thing you want, and that's that Super Bowl, with all of your heart, your capacity, strength and scarcity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stirred pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, or famish, or fame, or sickness, or body, or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim, and besieged and beset it with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation, we will get it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. All right. Put that in your mental. Write that down. Write it down. Put it in your mental. Apply that to everything that you do in life. And I guarantee you, you will be successful. Cowboy Nation, let's go. I'm out.